Tim?
So you use Bubble to create your new product right now, KleerCard. Tell us about KleerCard, what the origin was, and just the quick 30-second spiel.
Sure. Yeah. So, I think the inspiration was there were a couple, right? So, like I said, I was a product manager for a set of payments products. They were primarily serving Fortune 2000 companies in my former role, and it just felt like there was the infrastructure pieces were out there in the world now where you could put a super simple UI on top of that and give small businesses a tool that make their expense management super easy. So I think that was sort of the initial product inspiration. Then I, started. So my co-founder, Owen Hill, who was also my first cousin, we started talking about this, and he came from corporate finance, nonprofit finance roles, and then was an elected official out in Colorado as a state senator for the last 8 years, and did a lot of work in the small business sector. And so I think his experience and the pain points as a small business owner with some of these product ideas, we put our heads together to try to get an MVP product out. And so the product tries to address a few different problem statements, right? Just lack of access to the right credit that many small businesses have, the pain points of spinning up new cards, putting controls on those cards, and then trying to help them automate all the accounting and reconciliation tied to expense management. So those are the specific product problems that we try to address in the product.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. I'm guessing that like Brex would be a competitor.
Yeah. I think there's been a few of them. I mean, we call out. Brex, and then there's Ramp fairly recently as well. And those guys are, yes, they are a lot of similarities. Corporate card is a part of it. Brex is very much trying to become a bank. They've all focused on pretty high tech, venture funded customer base.
Right.
And I think we're trying to focus on sort of middle America. We're trying to focus on middle America, honestly. We think there's real, and so, yeah.
Because I was probably a couple years ago, I applied for Brex to get see what they do there. And they were like, sorry, you don't have, you need a couple $100,000 in your corporate bank account. And so clearly it was very startup venture backed focused. And I was like, well, that's great, but that's just not us.
Well, Tim, they just were looking at the wrong account for you then, I guess. They must, perhaps. The account with 9 zeros on it.
They've even gotten tighter in some of that criteria, as I understand it. If you're VC funded, 250 will do it. If you're not, it's closer to $1 million. So I mean, there's a lot of players.
What percent of businesses are? I feel like there's two different categories of this: funded in some capacity, and then like actually like venture funded.
Oh, it's super small. It's venture funded.
Yeah, I mean, I would think it's less than 5% of each.
Yeah, I mean, we launched in January. We've got about 500 organizations, customers using the product, and it's a ton of trucking companies, construction companies, churches, nonprofits, law firms, professional services. Drone Up is a great local customer.
The non-sexies.
Lots of. I mean, Drone Up's sexy, but there's lots of non-sexies that they've been served by their local or regional bank in some limited, poor way, frankly, and they want something that gives their team more agility, a bit more control, and just automates more of this whole expense management process.
But you're not a bank.
We're not a bank.
But
we are extending credit, but we're not a bank.
Where's the risk in that for you? Is it the obvious stuff?
Yeah, I mean the obvious stuff. Yeah, I mean so we're underwriting based on a Plaid connected account. It's very. I mean, the other thing that I think we're doing that's a bit different is it's not pure FICO score underwriting. we're underwriting based on really the health of the business. So you could have a small business, but clearly has revenue, clearly has, an average daily balance that, should justify at least a small credit line. With maybe we may want faster payment terms, right? Like let's settle up weekly or every 2 weeks, but but still give you a great product that helps you simplify your operational expenses.
So there's a company locally, billion-dollar firm, I believe, PRA. Can't think of portfolio.
I know PRA. I know PRA. They're a Coupa customer, so I know them well, actually. Yeah.
So do you ever look at stuff just like in your strategy of some of the? Obviously, they're on the side that you never want to get on. But
exactly.
Is there anything that you can take from,
right?
But is there anything from your strategy perspective on way? And they're probably more B2C, I would assume. But
I think they probably do it all. But I've not. I know them only from like I said, a former firm I was at. They were a customer, so I've not engaged with them in any way around our collections. The reality is we're 11 months into this. We do all of our own servicing today. We've built sort of a back end of this that lets us automate a lot of the payments. So all of our customers, it's all auto pay. So we draw your payment at the end of your billing period automatically. That de-risks it a good bit in some ways in our mind. And so we don't have a lot of collections, so to speak, that we need to like sell off to someone like PRA yet. So I hope we never do, but if we keep growing, we will. So that's certainly part of the game we're in.
How have you all grown so rapidly to this point? I mean, to be 11 months in and 500 customers is awesome.
Yeah. Good question. So we did a little bit of a private beta with like a couple dozen organizations who were late last year, and then launched in January. I think initially it was just personal networks. Both Owen and I, we're not 24-year-old kids. Like we had careers. He was a state legislator, had great networks. And so we got about 125 businesses on that way. And then the big change was there were a few YouTube influencers in the building business credit YouTube community that picked this up. And really completely we didn't ask them to, we didn't pursue them. They just started making content and we were, they do this on about a few platforms, and we were one of them. And so that was a huge, the first major videos dropped the first week of July.
Did you know it was happening when it happened?
No, I was down in the Outer Banks with my family. And I logged in, we got down there on a Friday night, and I logged in and we had 350 applications and I was like, what? And I start texting the whole team. What's going on? Did we talk to somebody? What happened? And we find this YouTube video of this guy who has 120,000 followers who made a video about us. And
it took you a while to figure out who it was, though?
Not real long. No, I mean, you go to YouTube and start searching KleerCard. It starts. Yeah, there was not a lot of content out there about us, right? We're a brand new startup, so it
send him a T-shirt.
Dude, I emailed the guy. He never even responded. Like I've never even talked to the guy. So and then some other ones picked it up. So that was a big catalyst for us. And so since July it's also, I mean, there's all this inbound, but we got to sort through it, right? There's a lot of unwanted
do you remember
applications
do you
in there as well.
His name? So, which one was it?
It was Credit Plug.
Okay, they've done it a couple of times, it looks like now.
Yeah, he's made a few videos now. And then another guy made the Get Business Credits, Jonathan Van Horn, who we have talked to several times, great guy, has also started making some content. There's a couple TikTok guys now we're talking to. So yeah, influencers, right? And I think, it's an interesting lesson in the way people buy now. Like, I'm not sure about digital ads, right? I'm not, like, we've gotten some traction from that, but not a lot. And I think more and more people buy in these community-minded
because they trust people in that kind of way.
Yeah, I think they'd rather, listen to some guy regularly on YouTube who they kind of build a relationship with and can email and look at his recommendations. And it just feels to me like people are much more prone to go fill out an application if that's the case, as opposed to, a digital ad on Instagram that you
it's interesting virtual cards. It's interesting you say that, because like I look down at like the clothes that I'm wearing. I don't know what like you guys do from this perspective, but like I think about like Tim's car, my watch, all like everything's influenced by the people that I watch on YouTube. Like to me, like it's like you watch them, they give you a decent amount of information over and over again. Then they're wearing something, they happen to mention it, and then next thing you know, you're spending money on them, and it's just like, oh, that's interesting. Yeah. So like when I did my first Ironman race in Maryland a few years ago, I knew nothing about Hoka One shoes, but they were a sponsor. Now, granted, this is a little different than the point that we're making, but I knew nothing about.
No, it's not. It's not. That's a community of people, right, around an idea of doing triathlon. So you're buying in a part of the community, yeah. So yeah.
But they're like. They're there. And I'm like, oh, this is interesting. And I had this issue with my shoes at that point, or my feet, or both, whatever. And then these shoes that I happen to like, and I remember looking at them being like $130 for shoes. Like that's the most ridiculous thing ever. I have like 6 pair of them now that I've gone through.
Yeah.
And it's like, wow, they fixed that problem. So if that problem's big enough and you want to do it, like you pay for it. And so it's very interesting how that world works. And it happened kind of organically for you.
Yeah.
Now, I guess the next step is, do you try to unorganically do that? And like make that a conscious. I don't know if unorganically is a word or anything like that, but like you get my point of
inorganically, like be intentional about it, right? Yeah. So I think there's certainly a recognition that influencers have should be a part of your marketing strategy. Right. We have a 3-pronged approach. We are doing digital to some degree, to a small degree, frankly, right now. We are partnering with some influencers. And then we're also looking at some of these, other ecosystems, whether that be a local bank who acknowledges their corporate credit cards are terrible and want to partner with someone with solid tech and a great UI, or other software companies that want to build maybe some payment flows into what they're currently doing. So I think we've definitely, digital ads aside, like I think we would the common theme there, right, is like, how do we tap into communities of people that have some shared need or shared experience that we can tap into and solve problems for.
And what's interesting? I have this pulled up right now, and maybe this is the one, but is it from about February 6, 21?
No, that was that Credit Plug?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny. That was like an intro one, but what really the July one was, should have been like July 9th, somewhere around July 9th. And if you notice, that February one was like, hey, this company just launched. The July one was when we automated our onboarding, and he did a whole
58,500 credit limit approval.
Yeah, that's it. That's the one.
But even so, like, this is where I think people get wrong on this from an influential standpoint. They look, oh, this person's got to have Joe Rogan like numbers. And I'm like, Joe Rogan definitely has movement with people. There's no doubt. But with these people that religiously watch 10,000 sub videos, like there's something powerful in that. Like, so this guy has 135,000, Credit Plug has 135,000 subscribers, which is no small amount. That's big, but the view is only 32,000. So the fact that you are getting a decent amount of viewership just from that, and still do, it sounds like, that's what you're looking for. I mean, like it's almost priceless if you think about it from that standpoint.
I mean, the thing is, it gets the flywheel turning too. Like now, I mean, we have just a steady flow of applications. Like every day we've got 5 to 10 new ones, right? And so you get some of this start. I mean, everyone's talking about the flywheel, right? And this is just part of it. We had 15. So that weekend we had 1,500 applications in that weekend that he posted that video in July. We ended up approving about 200 to 300 of them as new customers. Some of those that we've.
You had how many that weekend from him?
1,500 applications that weekend.
I mean, that's a huge percentage off of a 32,000 video.
Yeah, I mean, and at the time it wasn't 32,000; it was like 20,000 or something like that. So yeah, at 2025. So yeah, it is. I think it's a testament to us making onboarding really easy. We try to make the application super simple. There's a few things going on there, but There's the guy who won't return my emails.
It's literally. So all he's doing is walking you through. He's doing like a.
He's literally just signing up. That's the whole thing he's doing. Yeah.
And, so he pairs it to something, and it says that he gets 58.
Yep. He connects his operational bank account. Yep. He connects his bank account. We analyze it real time. We look at the revenue. We look at the average daily balance. We make him a preliminary offer. He can accept or reject it. It goes into then what's called KYB, which if you're familiar with KYB for business, it's where we got to verify you're not a money launderer or a funding terrorism. That takes a few days, and then we also do some additional underwriting verification in that process, and then you get an acceptance or rejection, frankly, within a few days of submitting that application.
So you're not Marty from Ozark, is what you're looking for, basically.
Yeah, we're not looking for Marty from Ozark. Yeah, funding the opium trade. Yeah, no, not doing that.
Yeah. Before we get too off topic, those people that are looking to bring on influencers, really cool company out there called Grin. They just hit unicorn status, and Grin, they manage the whole influencer process, contracts, payouts. Yeah, I mean everything. Pretty slick company.
Cool.
What was
I've not heard of them.
What was it called?
Grin, Grin.